Hello, welcome back to a new video. I wouldn't call it a test video, although it kind of is. But it turned out to be a nice ride on Sunday morning, where we are going to visit 4 different forts. So we're starting again at Utrecht Central Station, which is in front of us. And yeah, I did make a few mistakes again in this video. But let's get going. We will first talk about the problems in this video and then enjoy the ride. So here we go. So the first thing we want to say is that sometimes the camera is looking up a little bit too much. If you've been watching the videos this week, I decided to go for a different camera setup where the camera is around my neck, a little bit below by Adam's apple. I think everybody agrees that this view is nicer, so we're going to do that next year. But I did aim it a bit too much up, and as a result, sometimes, especially when I get off the bike and looking around, it looks a bit, a bit too high. So I'll aim it down a little bit more again. I wanted to have it a little bit more up, but I now realized that the movement of the body, you can't fully predict, of course, how you're sitting on a bike every day. And as a result, it now is aiming up too much. So we are right away on a Sunday morning, about 5 degrees outside Celsius. And we are on one of the busiest, if not the busiest, bike path in the Netherlands, in Utrecht. Quite a famous one, but it's not too busy, although many people say it's quite busy. But normally this would be way more busy. There are quite a few people out and about, even given the temperature, walking, jogging, bicycling, being outside with the kids, and or being in the city for some shopping, which is up ahead is a shopping area. Normally this crossing we are now going to on, which like I said is a famous one. So there's only buses and taxis in the taxi lanes, and for the rest it's basically people walking and lots of bicycles. And we actually see 2 people with a helmet on, which for a normal bike you don't see that often. So we are going to cross the road. So on this one you can go basically all directions, although I am going a bit against traffic here. You can see that all the other people are going either straight or on a diagonal, and people are walking here, so I need to weave around a little bit. So the first aim is to, because I figured it was a good idea to start in the city. But so the first aim is to get out of the city to go to the first fort we want to visit today, which is Fort Ruigenhoek. And we are going to visit 3 outside of the city and then go back into the city. And the city itself is also like a fort structure, and we're going to hit a little bit on that part before I go home. And we also will visit some nice farming areas. Windmill, we are going up pretty close to a windmill already, and we will also go through the famous bicycle parking, underground parking, which has room for 12,500 bicycles in Central Station when we get back to this area. And yeah, like I said, we are still testing, so I think the camera is a bit too high, the audio is okay, but the camera did drop out of the place that I put it in and was dangling next to the bicycle when I got home. So not sure when that happened. We need to find a better way. And I also think the colors are a bit off, although it is kind of weird outside. The light is very harsh and the sky was very blue. Yeah, so it kind of looked like this, but I still feel that the colors are a bit off in certain parts of the video, so I'll definitely take a look at that. But like I said, I kind of enjoy this ride. It will last about an hour. The first 20 minutes to get to the first location, then to visit the other two parts is another half an hour, and then we get back to the city and I drive home in a new area of town. So here I'm know that I'm not being followed by a car, so I'm kind of skipping here and going to the left already, so you can see the windmill a little bit better. There's an ice cream parlor inside, and then go over here. You can see on the helicopter view that is quite a nice windmill. In the middle of the city there are a few. We actually will visit another one near the end of the ride. Of course you can always give feedback on what you think about this video, but I already know that I think the camera is aimed up a little bit too much. But we have to find the edges. You sort of... I like old people. I know this might not sound nice, but I like older people on bicycles and just sort of a little bit wandering around at times. And especially on a Sunday like this, when we get out of the city, there's a lot of people are walking, skating, jogging, bicycling, and doing other stuff. So you have to anticipate, but you also have to join the environment together. So we're going to pass through an area called Overvecht. We're not there yet, but we will get there. You can see kind of mixed homes here, 4-5 layers or higher flats. This is quite typical for this area. And here I get off the bike. I forgot why. I think, oh no, I was closing my jackets because I had to install the camera and the microphone, and I forgot to close them. And of course then the light went to green. Again, it will probably take me 4 or 5 videos before I get everything into a habit on how to do it in this new setup. So I recorded on a Sunday, I think the 28th of January. Probably going to put it online on Monday. And like I said, I quite enjoyed this ride. In total we are doing about 25 kilometers. I think slowly but surely we are getting this new setup to work. In fact, in one of the forts, the second one we are going to visit, or the third one, I think the second one, there we can ride through the fort. There's homes inside, which was quite normal in these types of structures, depending on what their goal was. And it has a lot of big cobblestones, and that's the perfect test that we wanted to test if the shakiness of the camera is better in this solution. So if it's one of the first videos you are watching, I had the camera mounted on the bicycle before, And one of the complaints, at least nobody complained, but one of the things that I didn't like is that the vantage point would be too low, and cars and other things look way too big because you're further down. So I now moved it more to eye level, and as a result it has to be on the body, so that's why I went with this neck strap construction. But it also means that it's more stable and there's less movement, so the picture stays sharper. And if you go over cobblestones and old city areas, it looks way smoother now. And like I said, when we get into the fort, it's almost a perfect little test for it, since that was quite bumpy. Actually so bumpy that riding your bicycle fast there does not feel like a good idea unless you have like a really good bike. You see, this is what I mean, that sometimes you change the position on the bicycle, which now of course affects the camera angle, because well, that's what you do if you're bicycling. Sometimes you lean a little bit more forward or backwards, and that now because it's on my neck, or it affects the angle, so I will put it a little bit more down. But I had to find where the perfect compromise is. And I think I found it, so for the next one it will be the way that I want it. So we're now clearly in Overvecht, and that area has quite a lot of flats, so 10-story high living blocks, as you can see in the helicopter view. And this is one of the areas I went to school. So basically, I think that's high school, I guess, sort of level. So from 16-ish. And by that time I finished my education, at least entry education as a car mechanic, and I moved to the topic that became big in my mind then, which was electronics. So I was riding one of these paths every day to school. Not this one, but very close. Bye. Before I went into software engineering. It sounds that I could not make up my mind, but I talked about this before a little bit. My dad was working for Citroën, which is a French car company. I kind of grew up in that environment, so natural that you start there. Then I got into electronics, and kind of an extension of that in 1980. The first home computers came out, in this case the Sinclair ZX81, and I was hooked, and I slowly moved from electronics, using computers like the Commodore 64 and the VIC-20 and Sinclairs, which you sometimes, I built my own hardware for it at school and sold them, devices that you could plug in. But slowly my education continued in the area of software engineering, which was quite new back then. I would almost carefully argue that most of the time the students knew more about the topic than the teacher, or at least the teacher was only a few months ahead. Most of the time they came from the area of mathematics, or depending on the area, electronics. So it was a good mix for me. But my school was in this area, and we are now slowly, actually, if we would have continued and not crossed here, it was close by. So, but this is also the point where we are leaving the city. And you can see even from the inner part of the city, it's probably about 10 minutes to get to the outskirts of, in this case, this direction, and get into nature. Then we will see that the fort is quite close by. They are going on to the same route I am, so not the only one going biking. You can already see that there's a lot of people out and about, just walking or biking. That also, of course, means that I'm going slower on the bike. She actually has like a typical Dutch bike in that it is rattling a little bit and quite old. Not much value, and that's probably why she has it. Of course, if you're biking on a Sunday, you see all kinds of bikes. Some people use different bikes on Sundays. You see more older people, of course, which also have now these days mostly e-bikes. Lots of people walking and with dogs. Okay, we have to go to the right. So I don't expect everybody to watch all my videos. That would be unexpected. But yeah, free to leave comments if you like this style of videos. Because in the end, I ride around Utrecht for many hours. And recording is just, I would say, part of the fun. It gives me something to do. But it means that we have, after 1 year of doing it now and continuing and preparing for next year, we will have many hours of the same type of video, I guess. Sometimes the same route, sometimes different time of year. Next year I will try to go to different parts of the country and film there, but even then, of course, we are not a big country, and I wouldn't say it always looks the same, because there's definitely interesting spots, but in general there's the same kind of structures in the different parts of town. So the variations are in the details, or objects that we are biking to. But it's quite typical if you get out of the city. You see either these older land roads or new bike paths, so they're wet ones. But they can be combined. I'm probably thinking that this is also part of a official bicycle path, so that has a number. So there are different what we call networks, bicycle networks, and they all have numbers, And you can use that to navigate if you don't want to use a modern way like, I don't know, your phone or something. In this case I'm using commute and using my phone. And we are nearing the first fort, and I hope I didn't promise too much because it is closed. So I will look around a little bit. Sometimes it's open, they have some things for kids. But on the tree or the top view, you can clearly see what I meant with this star-shaped structure. I will get off the bike, and then I found out when I was watching this that the picture is a little bit too high. So again, I will aim it back down. But one of the new things is that we can get off the bike and walk around and show you around a bit. But clearly I still need to work a bit on that. Because I'm not taking the camera off my neck, I'm just sort of looking around, if that makes sense. Now you can clearly see what I meant, that the camera has to be a bit more down. But in summertime this is kind of a nice sort of area. Especially if you're on the bike, but you will see that there's lots of people also just walking around. And when it's open, they do special activities for kids, and I'm pretty sure they give also guided tours. So this is for Fort Ruigenhoek. Then we are going to the next fort pretty soon, and that is kind of cool in a way because we can drive through that one. And that is a slightly bigger one. Well, I would say about 3 or 4 times the size. And that's also part of the Dutch water defense line. And yeah, it's called Fort Blauwkapel, so Blue Chapel. And we can drive through that one. And like I already semi-warned, although you won't see it too much, but there's cobblestones, which if you're on a bad bike will probably knock your teeth out. You can also see there's quite a lot of water here. So some parts are kind of polder-like and have been drained. But you can clearly see on the helicopter view how it is. But it does mean even in winter time like now, but especially in summertime, these are quite enjoyable areas to bike and walk. So also I think get off here a bit and look around, but see this as a practice run because clearly I need to better figure out how to do that with the camera. And it would have been already better if the camera was pointing down a bit more. So I'll definitely next time sort of bend it a little bit more down. You can see there's a lot of bunkers on this one. I'm not sure, I should have looked into that, but I'm guessing they added it during the Second World War. Or before the Second World War. Or maybe even during, I don't know. I leave that up to the viewer to find out for themselves. And we move on again. Quite a few people jogging. Up to the new location, which is not that far away. In fact, everything was quite close by. My aim was to go biking for about an hour. I was looking quite a lot into the sun, which is both bad for the camera in that the picture becomes a little bit harsh, but also it is not nice when you're bicycling. But that's what you get if you go earlier in the morning and the sun is not fully up yet. This is kind of interesting because a lot of people are walking on this path, but clearly the dots are there to as a hint that it's a bicycle path for both directions. But people are quite relaxed in general, giving each other space. Not sure if you can see it, but this dog was standing in the mud, so up to his belly it was basically very muddy. Oh, you can see it. So I was telling her that will take a lot of time to clean up. She goes, yes.
Dank u. Nou, ik loop nou buiten.
We talked about it before that they always slow down quite a lot when there's kids and dogs around. And he was just thanking me for going so slow. And also here, of course. I think that's a normal thing to do. Is nothing to be proud of, but I guess some people don't do that. And the last thing I want to do is kill a dog during my bicycle rides. That would not be a good idea. I hope I didn't overpromise during this ride. I need to know what that structure is over there. Will look. It's quite new because it's not yet in the Google part. So we'll look into what it is. I think it might be a fun thingy. Anyway, people sitting outside here. I forgot what I wanted to say. Oh, I don't think I overpromised in saying that in the Netherlands there's always water close by. And even in these types of areas you see that these structures are being built so that you can lock your bike up. In this case, two wooden poles. Again, not sure what's happening here. Oh, they are fishing, which is also interesting. So we have to go under the highway and then there's the other fort close by. think here I made my first mistake in direction. I go the wrong direction, I think. Was it here? Yeah. And most of the time, if you do one mistake, it is being followed by a second mistake. Of course, when I'm riding, I don't see the helicopter view because that might have helped. But I misjudged the bicycle path, so I should have taken this one. And now I figured out I should have taken that one. So I'm slowing down. Actually, a car was coming. There it is. High speed. But I needed to go here because that's the entry to the second fort, which is like we said, Fort Blauwkapelle. That's a bit bigger, and yeah, there are homes inside. In the evening, this is quite nice if the lights are on, and the green is green, as you can clearly see on the Google one. As you can see that all these houses are inside of the fort structure, and on the helicopter view you can see, and especially if you go on Google Maps, you can see that this is one of these star structures, which was for defense, using the water. You can also see the cobblestones I was talking about, and this was a very good test. You can hear if I'm quiet. If I'm riding on top of them, here we go. You can hear that these are not easy to ride on. They're quite bumpy. But the video is quite stable, so I'm compared to the old setup. Again, I did it mostly to get the camera higher up. But a good side effect is that the video is much more stable. And you can see how nicely this inner area of Fort Blauwkapelle is. But on a normal racing bike, this would definitely knock your teeth out. It's quite bumpy. Happy to report that we are back on normal, smooth cycling path. So that was the second fort. And you can see, I'm not sure if I'm stopping here, but you can see if I aim the camera, I try to aim the camera, that this is also such a star form. And people taking pictures, looking at birds, stuff like that. What do you do on a Sunday when it's still cold but the sky is blue? You go out for a walk or a bike ride. So I think the microphone already fell off my bike over here because we hear the automatic shifting system working quite a lot. So the small chirps you are hearing, like this, is actually the mechanism deciding on the speed and what I'm doing, what gear I need to be in or what it wants me to be in, and moving little balls around. That's how it kind of works. To get me in the correct gear. So on this bicycle I never change gears, it's all automatically done for me. I just pedal, which is a lovely system, but it makes a tiny bit of noise, like chirp 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 kind of noises, and clearly the microphone was pretty close to the little box that make the chirpy sound. A train, a train, a train. Some of these smaller train tracks going into Utrecht and other parts of the country, they were not secured, so they would not have these structures, poles there. These days most of them are. I think we're going to pass the rail tracks quite a few times in the next 10 minutes. Again, going under a major highway, as you can see in the Google Earth view. I hope by now you figured out, even if we are in rural areas like here, that there are quite a few cars around. Maybe we are just better in hiding them at times. But it's definitely not a carless country. I would say that we are quite car happy. It's just that we also accept other modes of transport. You might be jogging next to your kid bicycling, like we see here. Or on a horse, or on a bicycle of different kinds. So you see these bunkers, you saw the one on the helicopter view, you see there are quite a few. I think there's, I count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think you already see 6 in the helicopter view at the moment. And these are just left there from the Second World War. I hope you agree with me that this is quite a nice sort of ride for the time of year. So the next fort we are going, let me see. I forgot what the name was. Voordorp. We are pretty close already. In fact, we are kind of surrounding it. Again, you see it in the top view, these angular or pointy shapes. I'm not sure if this is a star. Not really, but you can see we are clearing one of them. And you can already see the structure. I think this one was open. I could have gone in. I didn't do that, but I could have. And there was a small coffee place where I get coffee and some snacks probably. At least coffee because it says coffee. I think you could go inside and visit it. I did not do that. I looked around again with the camera being too high. And then decide to continue. So that's fort number 3. Since I didn't go inside, I didn't research which one was open and what was the activities. I did think this one you can hire for different events. If you want to do something. And I guess all the other time it's open for the public, would be my guess. So this one was called Fort Voordorp. So we are getting back on a small trail to the farmland. And we are now clearly already on our route back into the city. And then we go again to the core of the city, on the busy bike path, go through the central station bicycle parking, again the biggest in the world. And from there I'm driving home. I'm not sure why, but the sun was almost always in my face. I know why, because I was riding in the direction of the sun, but it does make the picture a little bit dark. And going under another highway again. I'm assuming I'm going under it. It's green, let's go, let's go! Yeah. And then this one should jump to green. About now, come on, come on, come on. No, in fact we have to wait. You can see on the traffic light, which is always higher and lower one, that there is a counter. Oh, I remember this one. We actually had to wait quite a long time because there were quite a few cars waiting. And these are smart crossings, so they actually kind of know where everybody is. And in this case, it stopped the timer here, as you can see. And it keeps it at that location until some of the cars are gone. And I think I move my body around and see if I can get them into the picture. Because there are quite a few cars waiting on the left and also in front of us. So the cycle for the traffic lights then automatically adapts to make sure that they get going first. You can see that slowly the time is going backwards, but it's not going in a steady way, so it's really into a cycle. And what's also interesting, you can see the cars now going on that side, but notice when I get the green that the cars are still going straight, only because the cars going through this direction I get a green light, which is about now, but you can see that the other cars are still going. So it's very well timed in a way. And here it's supposed to go green, but it detected me a little bit too late. Because most of the time, once they get one green light, they will try to get the other one also in the same cycle. Sorry if my voice was a bit off, because I was leaning back, getting relaxed on a Sunday. So now put the mic a little bit closer again to me. Yes, I still need to fix my brakes on the bike. The brakes are working fine, they're just noisy, especially if the microphone is so close to it. I kind of like it's the wrong word. One good thing about these noisy brakes is that even if you touch them very lightly, people know that you are coming and go out of the way a bit, or at least they know that you are coming, so they react on it. Double stripes on a bicycle path, you don't see that a lot. Also, and I don't think it's my mistake, but there's quite a bad GPS tracking going on in the last few weeks. I'm not sure what's up with that, But the dot is placing me in the middle of the road and not next to the road. It's jumping all around. It does not really matter for the view, but it is a bit weird that in the last few months it's not doing it that well. Maybe I also need to look into that, why that is happening. Because we are clearly not on the highway or on the car road going against traffic, which makes it... Oh no, sorry. Not going against traffic, but we are clearly not there. I'm not a car and I'm not sure why it's thinking that I'm a car. But now I decided I'm crossing the road quite aggressively and we are back on track. In this roundabout. We are definitely entering the city again. There you can see Sunday morning, quite a few cars around. So people tell you the Dutch are weird. They are correct. But we are not weird in that we hate cars. We do love bicycles and use them a lot. But that does not mean that we are car unfriendly, as you can clearly see from the pictures. Although cars are mostly of the smaller types and electric cars are quite popular. Again, going over the tracks. We entered the city again, of course. Now we are going to more of the inner part of the city. To one of the pride and joys in the bicycle infrastructure top 10 of Utrecht, the bicycle parking below our central station. I guess the central station is a train station, is also something that we are proud of because it's the biggest in the Netherlands. It has 21 tracks, which also makes sense because we are in the middle of the country, so all trains kind of go through Utrecht most of the time. As you can see, the GPS in the helicopter view is clearly very confused. I'm not, but... This was also a bit weird. I have to wait for a red, but the other people bicycling this direction all decided to either run to red or they had a green. One, two, three, well, I guess 3 people maybe they were riding through red, I don't know. Anyway, we have to watch this view a little bit longer because the cars are getting first go. Of course, when we are in the city, you hear this chirpy sound from my automatic shifter more. So that's definitely something that I'll make sure doesn't happen again, that the microphone is close to that mechanism. It was actually dangling about 10 centimeters above that when I got home. At least you now know how an automatic shifter sounds. Well, here I made another mistake, which turned out to be quite nice, but also a little bit trippy, because I get into an area where you don't want to really be with a bicycle. But people didn't get overly upset, but I made a mistake somewhere before here. I should not have gone here, but now I'm on a clearly walking only path, I think. And there are a few people walking that I have to avoid. And I'm trying to figure out how to get back on where I wanted to be. But I guess a nice little piece of nature in the part of the city. I wouldn't say that people are upset, but clearly now I'm in the wrong and I should not be using this trail. As you can see on the 3D view, I'm clearly stuck on this little island. This was quite high, so I decided to get off the bike. And they figured I was going to ride down quite aggressively. I didn't. And then they also changed direction again. I just wanted to get off the little island. The solution was to use this little bridge. We made it out, and now we need to figure out how to get back to the road. They kind of know where I am. Which was supposed to be the last fort structure, which is part of the inner city of Utrecht, so you hardly recognize it unless you see it from the top view. And we also missed a little bit because I was making this mistake, but we do see one of the pointy parts. I will point out. I will point out the pointy parts when we get to that point. Again, cobblestones, but by now I'm pretty convinced that this is a very stable solution. Because the picture is hardly affected. And now we are on this star structure inside of the city of Utrecht again. Although we have missed quite a few of the pointy points. We are riding along one of them now. can clearly see the bend one way and then the other way. And that goes all around quite a big area. Of course, the city grew later on more and more. They made several of these structures, but this one is still quite visible, as you can see, in the city. Again, not that unique, but since we were on the topic of defense structures and forts, this is a good example to put at the end. Well, I'm not sure if this is a good example, but I wanted to get into the inner city again, and this was the easiest way to get there also. He was sitting in a chair to test it and then almost ran into me. To be fair, I was also slowing down to show her sitting in a chair, but then she decided to jump out. Water tower, there are several. None of them really have water inside anymore. They are used for different things. This definitely feels like a typical mixture of old and new in Dutch cities. So of course totally different than what I showed in a video a few days ago, which clearly is quite modern. This is of course not, because we are entering the inner city. Kippig, which is a chicken related restaurant. So kip is the Dutch word for chicken. Kippig. Sort of chicken niche, I guess. Chicken. So we can see the Dom Tower already there, and we are actually on the same bicycle path as we were before, so the extremely busy one. And you can already see that even on January, on a Sunday, it's quite busy in the shopping streets. And people are walking left and right, as you can see, quite a few people. And also quite semi-busy on the bicycle path ahead. And this time we are going to follow the rules and just go straight. I do notice that there's somebody taking a picture and filming the crossing. You can see him, I will point him out, somewhere below on the right. There he is. He's going to sit down, you see, and set up his camera while we are waiting, because he wanted to film the spectacle, I guess. As you can see, there's already quite a few people on bicycles behind me and in front of me, and people crossing the street, and this is, I would say, not even that busy. And this was also quite a busy car road before. They changed this, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago. Kind of forgot one. But when I was a kid, it was still cars and cars and cars. Yeah, we can go over the rainbow flag. You can see how this bicycle crossing is going all over the place, all directions at the same time. And that's okay because there's only buses and they of course pay special attention, so when it's really busy it can take that amount of bicycle traffic. You can see all the bicycles, of course, on your left for people going into the shop or drinking or whatever they are doing. So normally this is kind of the starting point in front of us, but I will from here bicycle home, and I decided to detour because I figured it was a nice endpoint. I will go through the bicycle parking, which I already talked about several times. That means I have to go here. See, I'm always looking into the sun today. Again, in the helicopter view, the water that you are seeing is where the road used to be. So first there was water in the 60s, then they dumped it and they put a highway there, and then they put the water back a few years ago. And on top you see the central station already. We are going to circle around it so that we can go under it and then come out the other side. And that's actually allowed. So the bicycle parking is so big, but it's also a good way to get from one side from the building to the other side. So quite a few people are just biking through it. It's 2 floors, so 6,000 bikes on each floor. But the low one I'm now using, or going to use, you can just bicycle through it and get out the other side without having to pay, without having to stop actually. There's more parking spaces, and as you can see, if we get around the corner, even more bikes outside. There's always bikes somewhere, everywhere, as you can see. Even before we get to the entrance of the bicycle parking. And now we're on the entrance to the parking. As you can see, row and row and row, there's multiple floors, but this is the lower floor. And you can see all the bikes, and the bikes are also on 2 levels. Not these ones, these are rental bikes and bakfietsen, and there's a shop where you can fix and get some stuff for your bike. And more bikes, left and right, up and bottom. And once we ride through it, then we are on the other side of the building and we pop out again. Hello world! And now we are at the other side, getting out of the bicycle parking. So this is kind of the end of this video, but I'm not stopping. I'm biking home and I left the camera on. So if you want, you can continue watching, but this was kind of, we started about 100 meters on the other side, and we're also ending up at Central Station, which is over here. And now I will quickly drive home, which is another 10 minutes would be my guess, from here to the place where I live. There's multiple ways to get there, and again, for your enjoyment, if this is one of the first videos or you just like it, I'm going to next to the windmill again and using the bridge that goes over a school on the roof of a school, and from there. And actually, I'm doing another detour here. I forgot that I did this. I'm going probably to the left to show you the other side of the central station. So in case you are coming to Utrecht, either on the side I just showed you, but this is also a way to get into the central station. And the white building that you're seeing is actually City Hall. So if you go up the stairs, that's the entrance to the central station. And below it, it's difficult to see, but you see the parking sign. Below these stairs is again the starting point of one of these below ground bicycle garage parking areas. So these are quite modern buildings. They're going to build a few more. Again, going a tiny bit against the direction where it's supposed to be going, because I wanted to detour to use the bridge part. I think I also tried to look around again, and you can see the amount of cars on a Sunday in the city. And this is actually quite inner city, so there's definitely cars around. You might have seen this part in one of my videos or somebody else's video quite often. Not sure why this is in so many videos. I guess because on the route to Central Station. And there's a windmill here called the Star. And a few old bridges. And a building at the end of it is where the Dutch coins were made for the last 400 years or something. So it's called the Munt, the Rijksmunt and the Rijkscoin. Did you see the amount of the box that he had on his bicycle? And this is at night. These bridges are nicely lit. And we had to go here simply to get to the other part of town, the new part of town, using the bridge over the school, over the canal. I'm still a bit cold sitting here, and it was still quite cold outside, but it looked like a lovely day, and in many ways it was a lovely day. Let me know in the comments if you made it all the way here and you did see the parking. People jogging on the Sunday. on the bakfiets. Going to our left. Whee! Good. Yep, you should have given me a hint, but it went okay. Again, a small park. So the bicycle width is this W-shaped white, maybe you can see it, the white W shape in front of us. You can already see in the helicopter view how it looks. Now, if I would have pointed the camera down a bit, we could see that this is one family on 2 different bikes, skating, and a kid on the bike. Let's go, go, go. And let's go really quickly. I actually decided I want to go quickly and then I slowed down because this, look at this person in front of me. He clearly wants to be quicker or whatever he wants to do. But he decided to stand up and really go for it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. And here he goes. 1, 2, 1, 2. So again, we're now on the roof of the school, circling around, and there it's integrated into the bridge which we are going to use to get over the canal. So I decided to stay behind it so far because, well, why take away this effort? But now I'm kind of like, well, let's go. This is of course unfair because I'm on an electric bike, at least electric assisted, and if I put more pressure on the pedals it will take a hint and shift to the correct gear and give me more power. Now, one problem that I have with the video is that I forgot how I ended it. I think I'm going to the right here. And again, if it is your first video, we are now actually driving on top of a major highway, the A2. And in the helicopter view, you can see all the greenery is basically where the road is below. So we are now riding on top of this major highway. And it ends in front of us about 2 kilometers away. But we are not going to make it all the way because somewhere in the middle we are going to stop and take a left. These are quite hilly. One downside of the camera here is, and I don't do it too much I notice, but sometimes I'm have an itch on my nose or something, and you can see my hand in the picture. So this will never be built over because, well, I'm assuming they will never build over this part because of the highway below it. But before, the highway was on top, and clearly this is way nicer for the different areas of the city to better integrate, but also to get the noise and the pollution levels down. I guess too many accidents were happening in about 100 meters because they last year put some bollards there, and I don't like them. I think at some point I will run into them. These, I don't like them. They're weirdly placed. So we are getting close to the end of this video, and we spent another hour again. I hope you enjoyed the whole video or part of this video. Not sure what we are going to do next. I do know that I'm getting close to figuring out how to use this camera setup now. This was the goal of these videos past week. One of the goals. So thank you for watching, and yeah, I'm not sure which one we are going to do next. Leave comments if you feel the need, and especially if you want things to be different or have ideas how to improve it, let me know. So yeah, like I said, we will end where we quite often end, so about 15 meters from here. So yeah, see you in the next one, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.